The only positive thing about fast fashion is that you and I get to wear the latest trends without having to wait months for the clothes to drop, which by the time they'll be out of fashion and there'll be a new trend. And so hello, fellow learners. Thank you again for joining us on Terra as we share with you what we are learning about the not so humble beginnings of fast fashion. So, what we are learning this week, or what we've learned and continue to learn, is before fast fashion, clothes were put together and textiles were meticulously made with, I'd like to say, mostly natural fibers from wool, cotton. But the putting together of clothes before the Industrial Revolution was a very labor-inducive process. This meant that fashion trends or new clothes would come out once or twice a year or maybe per season. Although there are other factors to consider about fashion in general at this time, the one fact still remains that before fast fashion, no matter if your clothes were made by a tailor or you bought it secondhand or even you made it yourself at home, the standard quality for clothes was already set because of the standard quality for textiles and fabrics. Then we enter fast fashion. We truly see a more application of fast fashion as the world is now being introduced to industrial revolution, where new technologies such as sewing machines are being invented. Now, finding ways to make clothes easier does not automatically mean that the quality of the clothes has to be reduced. But sewing machines, they pretty much opened a door of mass production. There's no exact origins for fast fashion, or cannot pinpoint exactly which company started using the model of fast fashion of bringing clothes to you at a fast rate in weeks. It was a growing industry in the 1900s. It started being applied when more and more companies would appear that were bringing clothes to consumers at a faster rate. A fashion trend will pop up and a company will be on it, and in less than a month you'll be able to purchase that fashion trend. And this really took off in the late 1900s when the young generation at the time was really relishing in the idea of, well, rebelling. And so the more the consumers at the time were buying it, the more companies saw this as a profitable business model. And so it became very common for companies to continue in this business model. And who were they rebelling against? Well, who do we rebel against? Teenagers, young adults. Who do we rebel against? Exactly, our parents. Mm-hmm. I know. Our Earth, our Mother Earth, is struggling because those kids at the time wanted to be cool. Now we have to live with the consequences. Shameless. But I'm just kidding. Fashion at the time was being used as a form of protest, as an expression. It was a movement to march against certain issues that were happening at the time. So I can't tell you in this video what exactly the people of old were protesting about. But what I can tell you is it's time for something new. And the fun doesn't have to end. It's just how we go about having fun has to change. Fast fashion just isn't cool anymore. Because what was once this has now led to this. And where you and I could be living life feeling like this, we now get to live life like this. And the latter is not a feeling, it's our reality. Simply put, the only positive thing about fast fashion is that you and I get to wear the latest trends without having to wait months for the clothes to drop, which by the time they'll be out of fashion and there'll be a new trend. And so this fact is completely subjective, and hence it's a claim that is, well, debatable. With the rise of new technology, we don't have to be waiting months for clothes to be made, as people are doing it before fast fashion or before the Industrial Revolution. Like I said, new technology does not mean quality has to drop. For making things easier, faster does not mean we now have to cut corners on how we put together the final products. But we definitely cannot be endorsing clothes, thousands of clothes being dropped in less than 24 hours, when how they're made is harmful to our environment and it's harmful to us, both physically and mentally. Just think about it. How can you and I be spending hundreds of dollars on clothes that before being made, the fabrics, the textiles are chipping away at our environment bit by bit? When the clothes are made and we wear them, they are harmful to our bodies. And once they have outlived or they have lived their maximum amount of wear, they cannot even be repurposed. Hence, they are thrown away, discarded, and they go back to chipping away at our environment, our sustainability, our green life, bit by bit. It hurts our pockets, hurts our environment, and hurts us, all at the expense of also our mental health. So after learning all this and still learning about it, there I am thinking, why don't we reevaluate our standard of quality? I mean, the biggest driving point for fast fashion is saving costs, and not for us. It's companies trying to save costs for their businesses. We spend money on their businesses, so we are not being included in that idea of saving costs. So why don't we reset the quality, especially in the fashion industry? Why don't we reset how we define quality? Production will be slower, but because we are intelligent and very capable young people, it definitely won't be as slow as how it was before the era of fast fashion or before the Industrial Revolution. Intelligent and capable. Keep that in mind. So let's use that intelligency. That's the word. So let's use that intelligence. That's definitely the right word. So let's use that intelligence and capability and make clothes from textiles and fabric that are as pure in quality as you. You are a very respectable and dependable figure in society. You deserve nothing but the best. Anything less is throwing shade at your existence. And that toxicity has got to end. I am cooking poetry. My gosh. What did your therapist tell you yesterday or last week? I'm not sure. But when you met them last, what did they say? Don't go back to relationships that do not care for you. So take that, apply it not to your just personal relationships, but also to everything in your life. And be, what's the word? The pristine terrestrial figure you are meant to be. Hence, we present to you slow fashion, which is obviously the opposite of fast fashion, but it's a growing movement that will help us continue taking strides to make our planet greener, help us be more mindful, be more sustainable. Instead of putting a lot of money in fast fashion, put that same amount of money in slow fashion. Thank you for joining us again on Terra. If you enjoyed this content, please stay and like the video. Also comment. If you have other things to do, go get them done. We like you, hence we want you to be successful. So if you have other things to do, go do them. Be successful. Be pristine. Be a pristine terrestrial member of our planet. Otherwise, stay educated, remain mindful and sustainable as we all continue to advocate for our planet.